Good afternoon, everyone. My apologies, I'm absolutely full of hay fever, so apologise if I sound very sniffly. This is a banned content video straight from the non-lit web. This is my 1 in 72nd naval collection for the What If Malagasy Navy. Now, I should say this is not the aircraft collection. There's a separate video with all the aircraft, the 11 Rafales, the 8 or 9 Skyhawks, the 3 Hawkeyes, and a load of helicopters. So this is not the aircraft collection. This is just mainly the boat collection. Now, I am banned from model ships, so what you see before you is boats. Don't let your eyes deceive you. This micro Corvette is a boat, submarine is a boat, and this is a fast attack craft. So let's start at the top where this shenanigans, because it is a shenanigans, all started. So it all started with a very heavily discounted purchase of a Type 212A German-made advanced air-independent propulsion submarine from a model shop down south. This is a 3D printed model which you have to assemble. It's in sections like the real thing. You add the clear plastic here, and a propeller from AliExpress. Now, propellers on submarines are always very secretive because they're the most sensitive part of the boat because of the cavitation and the noise. But there is actually another propeller bit in the middle, which is very hard to get pictures of, like I said. So it has this one propeller and then another one in the centre. So I need to kind of add that at some point, but this will do for now. So the Type 212, 9 of these in What If Malagasy service. These are the most advanced, quietest submarines, I believe, in the world at the moment, unless you go to nuclear boats. My state is non-nuclear because I don't want to radiate the house. So this is the most advanced Malagasy weapon system, probably in their arsenal, I'd say. The Vulcans are pretty advanced now. Some of the drones are advanced, but this is definitely a strategic asset for them. Very, very good specs on this submarine, worth a read. And here we have Lord Garmadon for scale. Then we have Garmadon. Then we have the micro Corvette, which is a 60-metre micro Corvette. Now the Malagasy state are planning 12 of these. It's very interesting, following the Israeli naval service doctrine, their SAR 4.5 missile boats. Nice stealthy shape I've tried to go for. This is a Italeri PT boat in 1 in 35th, extended and converted into a 1 in 72nd micro Corvette. It has the option of having 2 helicopters of the MD500 class on the rear. I love the MD500. I think it's a great little chopper, good to the chopper. Really like it. And these deck markings are electrical tape. So I've cut electrical tape to make these deck markings. This is mosquito mesh net. I do need to add some little railings on here because these fold up and down. So when the helicopter deck isn't in use, you'd fold this up. But they keep getting knocked off. So at the minute that suffices. And these little bits here are for the harpoon landing system from the bottom of the helicopter. So it can go on there. So we have an anti-submarine helicopter, a general purpose helicopter. It's not a multi-role helicopter, it's too small. Then we've got the option of the MBB 105CM light gunship for anti-piracy work. The Corvettes will operate in groups of 2 or 3, the micro Corvettes. They're quite well protected. Got 50 cals for anti-small ships, Got the Phalanx Sea Whiz at the back, which I've modified with the extra sensors there, the electro-optical sensors, so it can target small boats and drones. Got 2 more remote weapon stations, 4 Exocet Block 3 anti-ships, 40 short-range air defence missiles, the Nominator 2. We've got torpedo launchers here, lightweight torpedo launchers for the Mark 54 torpedoes. 2 more RWSs, chaff and flares, again more torpedo launchers on this side, and we've got the Bofors 57mm towed sonar array at the back, so it can do anti-submarine work, and these are crucial. These 2 are crucial to expanding my naval capacity. Now, the What If Malagasy State does have a deep water or blue sea fleet that has Type 23 frigates and Type 45 destroyers and 2 aircraft carriers, but they're really for going out into the deep ocean. So actually around What If Madagascar, in the Mozambique Strait, which I've called the Oilem Strait, and up the coast of Africa, littoral stuff out to the island chains. That's where these valued naval assets play their part. Then we've got the Fast Attack Missile Craft, which is the Sea Squirrel class. Now I've put the Sea Whiz on the front here. Again, I've modified this one. I need to do the one at the back. 2 30mm RWS weapon stations. It's got the Nominator 2 SAM system 16 in that container, and it's a fully containerized launch setup here for 8 Harpoon missiles. So a really potent anti-ship fast attack craft. Now the idea of that is that that can prevent the What If Malagasy State from being targeted by large ships and invasion force. It's a good deterrent along with the submarine, very capable. The submarine can go up stealthily, provide targeting data stealthily, data linked in to the fast attack craft, which come in at 50 knots, launch their 8 harpoons and then get out of there. If they are targeted by return fire, they've got 2 Sea Whizzes on them to protect them. The idea of these is they get in, fire their missiles and get out, and they are gas turbine powered. This is a conversion of the 1 in 72nd OSA 2 missile boat from I Love Kit. Again, heavily discounted. It doesn't seem like when manufacturers make these big boats that people necessarily want them, and they end up in the discount pile pretty quickly, which is really good if you're trying to model on a budget. Malagasy State is, of course, the only state funded by PayPal credit. Here we have a an HH60 BM. This is a Malagasy What If search and rescue and replenishment helicopter. This is from the Magikarp squadron, modified by myself with lots of bits from the spares. A radar made of putty, forward-looking infrared. Underneath there's the crewman ready to winch someone, and these are used to from the bigger ships, the proper ships, to provide search and rescue, vertical replenishment, and they convert rep the smaller corvettes and keep them in the fight for longer because the endurance of these is not huge. Then we have a proper anti-submarine medium helicopter, general purpose helicopter from the Magikarp squadron. I've got another one of these which is carrying an anti-ship missile, a Penguin anti-ship missile, very apt for Madagascar, and these operate from the Type 23s and upwards, and also from the aircraft carriers. They can do shore-based stuff as well, and there are AB412s. I'll do a video of those later, but they're tucked away in a box somewhere in the loft or garage. Now this is one I'm working on. This is a Sea Not Rettungscruiser. So once upon a time, someone was sat there in Revel in Germany, and they made the lifeboat essentially of the DGRZS, the DGRZS, German Rescue Service, a bit like the Royal National Lifeboat Institute. So this is being modified into a patrol and fishery protection vessel. So as you can see, it's gained some weapons. A DGRG, whatever it is, would not be happy with that. This was purchased on eBay, unmade, for £5. So yeah, a real bargain. It was missing a couple of parts, which prevented you from building the upper superstructure. So I just made my own from plasticard. I really like this. It has a Tochter boat or daughter boat, which launches off the back. The back hinges down, and then the boat can go in and out, like drives back in. A bit like a kangaroo going into its pouch, John, baby kangaroo. This is, I've just got to finish this. I literally started it last night after work, after lates. And the top will come off because I can put those windows in. But this is a really nice patrol boat. I really like this. This is your kind of fisheries protection, general patrolling around, stopping bad actors like Nicolas Cage from getting into the What If Malagasy state. So that is to be finished. And then we have a Special Forces support boat. So the purpose of this boat is really for raiding. I should say 9 of these, 12 of these, 12 of these. Not so many of these, 6 of these. This is a conversion of the Naval 1 in 72nd PT boat, a PT 588 or something like that. Not the PT 109. This has 2 AliExpress speed boats on the back. It has a goods yard crane from Faller Model Railways, a remote weapon system from S&S Models, 30mm weapon system that I made myself from the spares bin, and a 40mm Bofors remote weapon system that I cobbled together from spares, basically. So the idea of this is that this is your Special Forces raiding boat. It's not really designed to get involved in fighting stuff. It's designed that the Special Forces can do raids into the east coast of Africa when they need to. They can of course use the bigger micro Corvettes, and the micro Corvette does have a rib launching station here with the davits, and it's all stealthily tucked away. But this is a specific Special Forces craft. 6 of these in service, like I said, can be used to launch raiding parties, divers, such like. Now the modularity of the fast attack craft also enables this. And I've got some goodies somewhere. Here is one of them. So this is a ISO drops container pallet, basically. Palletized load system. So the idea of this is, here's some Special Forces in their sort of diving / coastal raiding gear. But the idea of this is I've got another AliExpress rib boat which I'm painting, and I've got some cranes here, and the idea of this is that you can containerize your loads, put them on the back of the fast attack craft, and then that gives you another option for launching Special Forces. I do apologise, my nose is absolutely dying with the hay fever. Now, we come on to the final bit of the banned spicy collection. This is a S&S Models Landing Craft Vehicle Personnel Mark III. This is the little landing craft that the British used, I think, in the Falklands and perhaps the Gulf War. I think they've gone to the Mark IV now, which is bigger. Apologies again. This is a lovely waterline kit from S&S Models, and this is just used for sort of landing operations. It's not a raiding craft, it's quite slow, but you could load it up with a Land Rover, some pallets and stuff, and then that can be used. I do have planned an LCAC from Trumpeter, which is the hovercraft landing hovercraft thing. And that would come from the landing craft docks, much bigger ships. So these can as well, and that's sort of the start of an amphibious capability. Last but not least, we have the Corvette. So we've got a micro Corvette here, and now we've got a full Corvette. And this is 1 meter 4 centimeters. This is a very inexpensive, relatively, for ship hulls, from Sarek Hobbies, Harbour Defence Motor Launch in 1 in 24. I've extended it at the back. I'm just waiting for the filler to dry, and then I'll sand that down. I've started adding the helicopter dock because I always like to work from helicopter capability for some reason. Now this one is where you start to get into a much bigger ship. Break it up. Ship boat. And this is 70 odd meters long. This will give me a lot more capability to have medium helicopters or 6 drones, 6 attack drones, like this little fella here with his hellfires and rockets. So 6 attack drones, and you imagine that operating off the coast of Africa or out in the island chains across the Indian Ocean on the far side. Lots of capability from this ship boat, of course, and this will have a similar arrangement to the micro Corvette, but being larger, it can carry more weapons, it can carry a larger hangar. So the idea is that this is really what in other navies would be called a small frigate. It is small because frigates start at 1 meter 50 in this scale, and frigates are like the old destroyers. The new destroyers are like the old cruisers in capability. So this is a slow build because of the budget constraints and sanctions by the United Nations in the house. And a few bits have arrived for it, like the 57mm Bofors, which is a tremendous weapon. That's the Mark III. So it'll have a Mark III Bofors here, and then it will pretty much follow the lines of the Corvette there. I'm trying to introduce a design language. So design language is where you have common themes, like BMW with the grille that's almost as big as the car. A design language to run across all of my naval designs. Now, I'm only saying that the Malagasy state would have 3 of these big Corvettes because they've got enough of the micro Corvettes, but the big Corvette is where you transition from littoral coastal stuff to deep ocean stuff. So the benefit of the Corvette is it can do both. It can go between littoral and deep ocean. The micro Corvette is really a littoral. I mean, don't get me wrong, it will float around in the ocean. It's not going to sink. But what you find is your living quarters are more cramped. You find that your endurance is more restricted. You know, this would have a 3-week maximum endurance at sea, when you can have a frigate out for 3 months, 6,000 nautical mile range. These have good endurance, 12 weeks at sea, 3 weeks submerged without snorkeling under the air independent propulsion. I believe it might be 1 week. Very good. And then this would again, you're only looking at 3,000 mile range at this, and at full tilt 50 knots you're probably looking at 2,000 mile range. Special Forces support craft, again, small range. Patrol boat, small range. So this is where this really transition point begins to the deep water navy, and the deep water navy is where your capability increases immensely because you've got more ammunition than the micro Corvette, more reloads. But this is a transitional point because it's the first one where the medium helicopter becomes viable, and this would cope with a longer period at sea, enabling you to go out really to up the top near Saudi, Yemen, out towards Australia, down towards the Kerguelen Islands, and out towards the Atlantic. And that's really the transitional point, and that's where I'll stop before I get divorced. So I hope you've enjoyed that. We do have a few rivals. So if we spin around here, avoid all the music stuff. Sorry, the house is very messy. Then we have the bottle class rival and the Cam K27 rival there of the Marmatians. So they do have some rivals in the area from the Marmatians, but obviously with everything that's going on in the world, you've got massive problems with sort of the trade routes being collapsed. You've got uncertainty and wars all over the shop. Everyone and their dog is getting more weapons. So yeah, that's probably where I'll stop, and I think that's a good capability gap there before it gets silly, because like I said, a 1 in 72nd frigate would be as long as this table. A 1 in 72nd aircraft carrier, the ones the Malagasy state operate, would be from that table to this dresser here. So again, you know, it starts to get silly. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care. Goodbye.